Today is January 1st, 2024, and we're getting ready to set sail in 5 minutes. Let's go! Yeah!
No question of what is rubbing on the drive shaft.
The tailpipe is rubbing on the drive shaft.
Back at it.
On the floor again. Putting wires to take the tailpipe away from the drive shaft. On the floor again. Getting ready to go to Mexico.
Two things. One, transmission likes to be more warm. Two, leak.
Oh yeah.
Three, mud. Just kind of, it sinks in as it's initially getting off hard because it sinks in the mud and it doesn't want to roll up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. This is our canal.
This is our version of the English canals.
Yep.
It's the American roadways.
American roadway.
The American roadways. Oh, well the clouds are pretty.
Alright, so we're gonna get off here.
Beans. Beans.
Coupons.
Coupons.
$10. Get 10 cents off.
10 cents off. Thanks, Kroger. What you doing, Cal?
I'm calculating our fuel economy.
Wow. What a beautiful chart.
Thank you.
What was it?
8.2 miles per gallon for the last fill up, or last, how to say, tank of gasoline. 8.2. Not terrible, but that involved some local driving. Now that we're on the highway, we might see it go up to 10.
Hopefully. On our way to date night. In Montgomery, Alabama. Are you happy?
Yep.
Oh, I just started filming.
All four corners are auspiciously chipped. Good morning. We are in Montgomery, Alabama. Montgomery, Alabama is about 200 miles away from Athens, so that's what we drove yesterday. And we are staying in a parking lot, same parking lot where we came for dinner last night. It's a perfectly wonderful parking lot. However, last night there was some intense drag racing between some vehicles that must have happened somewhere around in this big parking lot. Also, it got down to 26 degrees last night, but we stayed pretty warm. The temperature inside the motorhome is 56 degrees, thanks to a propane heater. And that propane heater has a fan which pulled on the batteries a lot last night, so we're down to 12.1 volts, and that's kind of low for batteries. However, we have 4 or 5 solar panels on the roof that should pick up a good deal of sun today. Today we plan to drive to Mobile, Alabama, and then maybe on to New Orleans, which is our immediate goal right now. In New Orleans, we have a great friend named Anthony who we look forward to visiting.
Hello. I had insomnia from 4:30 a.m. to around 6:45 a.m. and now it's 7:45 a.m. because it was too cold to be comfortable and also loud and noises. And Kiki is partially to blame, but I can't be mad at her because I like to cuddle with her. What you doing, Cal?
Well, I'm breaking down the table so that I can spin this seat around, and I'm spinning the seat around so I can open this engine cover. That's so I can check the transmission fluid.
The transmission seems to be having some issues, so we're gonna check it out.
Wow. Look at that smoking. Interesting. There's wetness right up here. See that?
Mm-hmm.
And that wetness has gone down, which may indicate there's too much transmission fluid and it's coming out the top. Yeah.
I don't love to go out there in the middle of the street, so I'm not. And I'm very grateful that Cal is a strong person who will just do what needs to be done, even if it's on the side of the road.
Now I'm gonna drop oil cap.
Oh, he said he dropped the oil cap. Okay. But I just trust that he will figure everything out.
Okay, so now it's a little bit above full. I like to do it twice. Yeah, it's a little above full, which is okay because we're gonna burn it.
It's always a good thing when we're driving.
Now, I might not be a very religious person. However, I do have a way of kneeling. If you look down here, there's this perfect spot to kneel. And so what I do is I put my knees on it, and this way I'm kneeling to this engine here. And then here I'm doing all these things. But every time I come down to my knees, I think of it as a semi-religious moment. We have been having some problems with the transmission, and I have just changed out the transmission fluid entirely, which is the first time I've ever done this, and I've had the motorhome about 8 years.
Go.
Well, it's day 2 of our adventures, and we have transmission problems, and we can't go anywhere, basically. The main gear isn't working. Reverse is working, but even the low gear is not really working that well. So I'm curious how we would even get the motorhome back to Georgia. And also, I called around. Well, yeah, and nobody seems very inclined to work on the problem. So we have a puzzle before us right now of what to do. Right, Momo?
I just didn't think it would happen so soon. What I want to do is get motivated for an entirely new plan that's even more creative and wild, like living on narrow boats in England. That would be fun.
Good morning. It's day 3 of our misadventures. It's been officially renamed the misadventures of Cal and Momo. It's raining and we're broken down just south of Montgomery, Alabama. I have just been informed by Momo that the 21-day challenge of not complaining, is now over. There can be a lot of complaining. It could be a complaining backlog of complaining. Momo, do you have some complaints that you would like to tell the camera? Oh, that's the curtain. Well, Momo's just getting up. It's not really a time, but there's been a lot of complaining, and well, there's been a lot to complain about.
Well, maybe to the help of coffee, I have recovered from my extreme bout of negativity and hopelessness. Because a transmission dying is basically huge. And it's not impossible to fix, but, you know, it's like a month worth of coordinating and ordering and thousands of dollars of spending. So I basically just felt hopeless about vintage equipment. Is it worth it? You know, but also, like, when you buy new equipment, it's very expensive and it's not as pretty. You know, but it's like, is it reasonable to want to have the aesthetic when it just seemingly keeps failing? I'm looking at this leak now that's happening over there because it's raining. And I'm in therapy. Well, I was in therapy before I left, but my therapist left me a DBT workbook. And I do struggle with, like, really big emotions. So this morning was hard. Then I had coffee. That was helpful. And also, we decided upon the tasks that we're expected to do, in order to feel like we're equally contributing. I mean, Cal is doing, like, honestly, way more harder stuff. So, like, I do appreciate that. Sometimes, and, like, the thing is, like, I don't make money. And every time I try to make money in a way that doesn't just kill my soul, it's, like, it never pays enough. So it just feels like a whole bunch of wasted time, and, but it's like money is needed for this, basically, to happen. Oh, we're kind of in the middle of the road. We're just in Walmart, and, like, we're kind of in the middle of the road. We're just in the parking lot. I don't know what to say. People are driving by. I would like to be immune to people looking. It's like, what? It's like, oh, it's a beautiful car, beautiful motorhome. But then I'm all insecure when people look at it, because they're like, are they looking inside at me? and then I'm all looking weird in a good way. My whole thing is like, be weird, be yourself, but then I actually do it and then I'm like, insecure. So anyway, lots of psychological issues. What's worse, transmission issues or psychological issues?
I made a list of all the tasks that go on when one is living in a Argosy motorhome. It goes into 2 pages. And then it's Cal with the sun, Momo with the moon. And we've split them up so that we're all doing 50%.
It's January 3rd, 6:52 p.m. in Greenville, Alabama. And we are going to try to drive back to Athens, Georgia tonight with a transmission that is not the best. It's 7:04. We just tried to drive out of the Walmart parking lot and it didn't work out. So we're back in the Walmart parking lot. Luckily we could even get back to the parking lot, and we're gonna call to get towed tomorrow.
I have been calling mechanics and I've been calling tow companies, and there is a mechanic that is going to work on it, and there's a tow company coming. So we're going to be towed, and then the mechanic says he's going to swap the transmission out, so we're going to have a new transmission. All right, that's the update. Morgan is making lunch while we are jacked up. We're jacked up with the tow truck, and they're taking the drive shaft off right now. Meanwhile, lunch is served. We didn't know they were gonna. How are you feeling?
Anxious.
Yeah. I was feeling anxious.
Where is the Tupperware?
Tupperware. No, it's probably being used.
No. My anxiety has subsided, and I'm actually very grateful that they came fast.
Are you actually talking about?
No, that's the one you need to talk to.
Okay.
I'm just in the way. I'm like a bad chick. I keep bouncing around.
You can drive in reverse.
Why don't you just turn around and go the other way?
Yeah, right. Well, Momo, here we are.
Yes.
And there's Kiki.
Kiki the work cat.
What do you think about our new place?
Well, the energy of the mechanic is really nice and compassionate. So that is like relieving for me. So I feel fine because we can be here. It's okay if we live here. We're in a good place, relatively level. I mean, it's not the worst thing. The sun is hitting the solar panels really well, so we have lots of power right now. So I was having a lot of anxiety earlier, and now it's coming down, it's coming down.